all you're left with is attention and put it inward. If you do that, you'll discover things.
But I just want to know what your intuition tells you.
I think when you experience certain states of meditation, you have experiences of things outside of the normative reality. Now, you can also make a biological reductionist argument that those are just illusions, hallucinations created by neurons. I don't think that that's true.
What specifically are you referring to that you've experienced?
I don't talk about it. You can ask me a more specific question, and then maybe I can say something. But
What is the right question to ask you?
So I'll try to explain. This is gonna get weird. So I realized recently that I used to value credibility over truth. You understand credibility and truth are two fundamentally different things. So credibility is saying something that is believable. So believability depends on you, not on me. So what I realized recently is that credibility is about changing your language to fit the ignorance of the audience, literally. So I was thinking about this recently in my own midlife crisis. And I was like, what am I here to do? Am I here to be famous and successful? If so, then I should be credible. But if I want to speak the truth, then I need to allow my brand or whatever the fuck it is to like fall apart and be not credible for people to think that I'm an idiot. And I think that is more important, right? Because that's ego. People can think I'm dumb. I would rather speak the truth than be credible in this moment and in some limited ways. That's number one. I acknowledge that what I'm about to say doesn't make sense. And I think if you want to understand this, you have to experience it. And we'll explain why in a second. So if you look at your existence in the world, you have a body, you have a mind, but then you have this other thing, which I think science sort of like acknowledge. We sort of acknowledge, we don't really know what it is, but the capacity for experience. We have this subjective part of you, right? So I can see objectively what you are, but you have an element of subjectivity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah.
How do I know?
You don't?
Do I think?
I don't know, I assume so.
Exactly, right? It's kind of weird. So even when we're like scientists and we say anxiety comes from the amygdala, it's kind of, we're doing something really sneaky. We don't know that anxiety comes from the amygdala. We can measure blood flow in the amygdala. We can measure electrical activity using an EEG. How do we know that anxiety comes from the amygdala? Because we ask a human being, hey, when there's blood flow going over here in this fMRI, what are you feeling? I'm feeling anxious. So there is a level of human existence that is subjective. So what science has done is we developed telescopes and microscopes to take our physical eyes and extend them. So my physical eyes, with the baseline sensory organs, I can perceive certain things and I cannot perceive other things. But if I develop an instrument, I can see a star. If I develop an instrument, I can see a bacteria. So I'm taking my natural physical ability and I am enhancing it with technology. With me? Meditation is doing that for your subjectivity. So if I take like material realm, which is observable, objective, and I use a telescope and I use a microscope, I can go further than where I started. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So now the question is, for the subjective realm, can you go further in the opposite direction? And when you do that through meditation, you will discover things that are not available to the basic subjective experience. So with the naked eye, you can't see a bacteria, but if you use this instrument, you can see it. There's basically a spiritual equivalent, a subjective equivalent of a microscope and a telescope that allow you to perceive things using your baseline subjective experience that are not perceivable by normal means. That doesn't mean that they're supernatural. We call them supernatural, but I think this is all reducible to science. We just haven't figured it out yet. I think that I have seen enough stuff through personal experiences, through the clinical value of working on these things, where I think some of this stuff is real.
When I asked you about your experience, you said, I don't talk about it.
Yes.
Which is extremely rare for you to say, because
Yes.
you talk about everything, it seems like
Yes.
pretty much most things. It's not a
Yes.
question I've ever asked you where you said I don't talk about it.
Yes.
So I'm curious as to why you don't talk about it.
2 or 3 reasons. One is that it depletes Shakti immensely. It depletes energy. So as you accumulate spiritual energy, there are certain practices that you can do, including helping people, that will deplete your energy. Second thing is, anytime I talk about it, I think it induces a subtle form of ego, right? So it's like, oh, I'm into the other side, even not talking about it. So that's why I won't show up on a podcast and be like, oh, I've had all these experiences that I'm not gonna tell you about. It's real, but not, by the way. So I think there's a subtle form of ego that I really wrestle with. And I've just learned, so there are 1 or 2 times in my life where I've shared these experiences and it wipes away my meditative progress for like 5 years. So it'll take me years of practice to get back to having those experiences. And I think I've also been told by my teachers, and now I'm understanding. I didn't understand back when they told me, but I think there's other reasons too. So it creates expectations. It creates an imagination. The moment that there's an expectation, in the mind will reproduce that experience.
Obviously, the viewer is thinking, listen, Dr. K, I trust you, and you're suggesting you've been to the other side and seen something, and I haven't been there, but that knowledge that you have might help me make more informed choices of my life. So tell me what you experienced.
Yes and no. So let's understand. Any help that I can give, I'm gonna give. If I can help you, I will. I don't think this is gonna help you. I think all of it's gonna create ego. It's gonna create an aura around me. I don't want that. It's gonna create people hunting for this, which will inhibit it. The more I say, the harder it will be for it to help you. So the best thing to do is if you're interested in this stuff, literally, like, what are we talking about here? Let's just stop and think about this. This is crazy. This guy is saying there's stuff after death. There's like beings out there, right? Like, this is wild. This is dumb. This is unbelievable. Exactly. So if you really want to know, and this is what I love about this work, this is the reason I say it. One of the great tragedies of the world today is that it's explored. We know what's behind every nook and cranny. We've mapped the earth. There's no exploration. Maybe deep sea is what's left. Space is what's left. It's so exciting to explore. But most human beings on the planet do not have the opportunity to explore the frontiers of the universe, right? The known universe. The cool thing is that, I don't know if this is gonna make sense. In the realm of subjectivity, no one can explore for you. You have to do the exploration yourself. And if you are hungry to be in Magellan's shoes, if you're hungry to be an astronaut and explore something that no one has ever seen before, then you should meditate. And I'm a crazy person. Sure, am I a Harvard Medical School trained psychiatrist? Yes. But I could be a crazy person. I had some experiences. I maybe joined a cult and like that. You can't trust me. Exactly. So don't trust me. You go see for yourself, right? Go and meditate. Take a moment to sit, not a moment, take a year, take a decade, to sit and look at that subjective experience of self and see how far you can take it. Try to get rid of all of the anchors of the material realm. If you've got an itch, you need to not focus on that. Just focus your attention fully inward. It's not a process of evolution, it's a process of involution. Put all of your attention, all of your sensory input. So if I close my eyes, what I hear is louder. If I smell and close my eyes, I smell something more intensely. Remove all of your sensory perceptions, and all you're left with is attention, and put it inward. If you do that, you'll discover things. If you practice consistently enough. That's why it's so unbelievable for people. If you do solid, esoteric, spiritual practice for years and decades, hopefully it'll happen to you. Maybe it won't. I haven't figured that out.